Peace. Good morning, family. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Key. I hate when I have to mess with the microphone like it wasn't already set and ready. Um, Peace. Good morning. It's Mr. R2 right here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. I just want to say I appreciate you. And as always, I am completely grateful for your presence because you can be anywhere right now at 7:30 in the morning. But here on the 29th of July, the very last Friday of the month. So for all you August babies, your birthday is around the corner. Your born day is coming up, especially for those who are August 1st babies. It's your weekend. So you can celebrate every day of August if you so choose to. So again, good morning to you, Grand Rising, whatever you say, wherever you from. Just good morning to you. I am happy to be alive on this side of the dirt. So what I want to learn from you is, where are you viewing from? If you're in the state of Texas, just put the city. If you're outside the state of Texas, put the city and state, just so we can continue to build on this digital relationship. All right. So today, honestly, I was trying to figure out what was I going to talk about. I'm just being honest and transparent. A lot of times my messaging come in the morning. I really don't pre-plan messages because I like to do it organic in real time, because for me, that's where I get my greatest strength in when I want to create and be in that moment. Now, for those who are out there who are creatives, you definitely know and understand where I'm coming from with that. I like to be creative, especially in the moment, because I think that's where that's where my gift lies. In knowing who I am and presenting and presenting that in that moment. So, good morning, peace to you. Today we're talking about transformation. So, because we're talking about transformation, what I want you to do is transform this live you're watching and share this live on your news feed, or share this live inside of an active Facebook group. Because every time you comment and every time you share, it puts this podcast live up higher on your news feed. So if there's something that resonates with you, go ahead and put that in the chat, because just because you're saying it right now, someone who's not getting up at 7:30 listening or watching, they're able to see what you said in the comment section. If you're like me, sometimes when you look at posts, you go directly to the comments, you laugh, you clown, or you're like, oh man, I didn't think about that. And then you go up and you start reading or listening to whatever you do. So we want to tap into the people that listen to things, well, read things before they listen, however they do it. So we're going to take a step into transforming this transformation. Now, when I tell you peace, good morning, Miss Anderson. Mr. Little, good morning to you. Miss Selena, good morning to you as well. When I tell you I've learned a lot from the word transformation this morning, because you're going to get the word and you're going to get the etymology of the word. And when I tell you, just listening to the definition, well, reading the definition and reading the etymology of the word transformation definitely opened my eyes to reading and wanting to learn more about transformation even more. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I don't want to prolong, because I kind of have like more than one definition as well as more than one etymology, because I want to make sure I want to respect your time, because you can be doing anything right now, but you're here with me. All right, so let's jump into it. For those that may be new to the platform, you're going to get the definition, and we're going to invert the definition to give you a new focus point. So in the word transformation, this is the definition. It says a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. Again, a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. The inversion on this is red over white. It says a thorough change. And remember that word thorough, because it says in transformation, again, the definition, a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. Inversion again is a thorough change. So now let's go ahead and dive deeper in the definition, because it said thorough, and I want you to pay attention to the word thorough. Now, this definition of the word thorough, I gave you two, because there was one definition of thorough I was like, wow, that's deep, because I want you to pay attention, because remember, we're talking about transformation. Put transformation in the chat, because I want you to understand when you get into that moment of transformation, then there's more that comes with it, right? Because in this definition, like, I couldn't even invert it because this definition was so deep and so thorough as well. So the definition of the word thorough says taking pains to do something carefully and completely. Remember, we're talking about transformation within you, transformation within your life, because there are going to be pains that you're going to have to deal with. And remember, the word thorough was in the definition of transformation. So who are you to think that you're not going to go through something to get to the transformation of where you're about to go? In definition, again, it says a thorough or dramatic change. So therefore, because it has to be within thorough, it says taking pains to do something carefully and completely. So therefore, there is a transformation of the pain into your purpose. There is a transformation into your thoughts and your reality. So again, in definition of thorough, it says taking pains to do something carefully and completely. And the other second definition of thorough, it says complete with regard to every detail, not superficial or partial. How many of us have ever been to the point to where we're feeling, or we thought we was in our transformation season? And because you thought you were in your transformation season, it was a superficial process. Because transformation is not a season. Transformation is an action, because remember, it says it is a thorough or dramatic change. That means there was something that took place that was complete in regard in every detail of your life. Something that took place in regard in every detail in the way you process your thought. It was not superficial and it was not partial. It was fully and thorough within truth and fully and thorough within that dramatic change. I'm just giving you definition. You can go and search these definitions for yourself, but I am putting it in a context where you can imagine and see how your life is currently and where you're about to go. So if you're at that cusp or at the edge of the cliff of your transformation, it may be time for you to jump. So now let's go in etymology of the word transformation. And it was an aha moment for me too in a transformation. So the word transformation, it is the old French of transformer, and it says change the form of, undergo, or change of form. Right now, let's flip that a little bit, because the one old French definition, it says change the form of. Change the form of how you speak to people. Change the form of how you listen. Change the form of the things that you do. Change the form of the things that you used to do. So remember, if there is a thorough change, so therefore there has to be a change of something. So now going into the second form of the old French etymology of the word transform, now we're talking about the trans part of transformation. Because as you see in the order, the red is highlight, because the etymology is going to give you the thorough origin of it, but then it's going to break down the word itself. So because it says undergo a change of form, that means that's how you carry yourself. You're undergoing a change of how you carry yourself. Not form of, but of form. So when there is a renewing of your mind, there is a change of form. There is a change of how you formulate your thoughts. There is a change of how you communicate to people. There is a change of the process and where you go and the process of how you go about doing it. Because change is not going to take place until there is an undergoing of the thorough way of how you think. So let's take this other form, because the other etymology of the word transform, we're going into the formation part, which is Old French mer, and it says to formulate, express, draft, create, shape, or mold. So if we're talking about change, there has to be a change in your expression. There was a change in how you create things, because if you are creating something from something, so therefore there has to be a newness and a new way of how you do it if you're ever going to reshape your thinking. If you're ever going to reshape the family trauma that you have yet to deal with. So that's why there has never been no transformation, because it was not thorough in nature. You scratched the surface. You had a superficial apology, a superficial conversation with your family, a superficial conversation with someone you knew you did wrong, and you could not crack the mold because you never understood that it had to be thorough. You thought because you said it was okay, but you didn't go as deep as you know you should have in every detail of the word of the transformation. We still have family trauma because there was no transformation in the renewing of how you communicated with one another. Again, I'm just giving you definition and etymology. That means it has always been here, but you have begun to look at the superficial way that you've been communicating with people. So, and the other, which I love this part, it says Old French former again, and it says take form, come into form. So if there is a transformation of your mind, that means you have begun to take form of that newness in order to come into form of the new you. I'm just giving you etymology, and I'm giving it back to you to where you can receive it, or I'm giving it back to you where you can look at your life in detail, or I'm giving it to you in a particular form to where you can be thorough enough within your own self to say, you know what, that was probably superficial. I'm still dealing with this childhood trauma because I have superficially communicated to myself. I have not taken form of my change or taken form of my pain and to transition my pain, I promise, because I haven't taken form of it in order for me to into form, or in order for me to come into the new me, in order for me to come into the healed person that I can be, because I have never stood in the face of my transformation because I was too afraid. So the transformation will not come to pass until you understand that there is a thorough process that comes with it. There is a process. So let's take the dive, right? Because we're talking about transformation. Because if we're ever going to get thorough in our lives, are thorough in our transformation, or to create a dramatic change, sometimes we're going to have to go deep. We're going to have to go deep within inside ourselves, because remember, yesterday we talked about confidence. Confidence is a muscle group that you have to work on in order for you to use it when it's time for it to come out. And because you may have a lack of confidence, there will be no transformation. There will be no thorough, dramatic change in your life because you haven't worked that muscle yet. That's a muscle group. You get stronger every time that you flex that confidence. There is a big difference between confidence and arrogant. Arrogant is that superficial transformation that you try to put out there as if it was change, but it was really a covering up of the fear that you have or the lack thereof of the confidence. So in your transformation, the first thing that I want you to understand that you can begin to engage in transformative learning. So when you engage in transformative learning, it's about changing how you think and the thoughts that you think, right? Because remember, we're talking about thorough in the dramatic change, thorough in spirit and in truth. Thorough because if I am ever going to do something different, then I must engage in the things that is going to create a difference in my life. Right? Because A's transformative learning, it actually involves changing your perspectives and acting from the new you and the empowered you through your perspectives. Because I want to do something different, that means I have to learn something different. I have to put myself in the process of this transformative learning because that may be the best way that I can begin to renew my mind to create my what's next. So therefore, I have to engage myself with intent of being different by doing different things. And when you begin that process of your what's next, that's when you have to begin to change your self-concept, right? That's how do you see yourself? That can only be answered by you. I mean, trust and believe you're going to have some folks that's ready to answer that question for you. But can you answer your question of what is your self-concept? So what do you think about yourself? That's a question. Like, put that in the chat, like for real. Don't just listen. But what do you think about yourself? I mean, this can be complicated and a deep question for some, but it's an honest question that may get you to an honest place in your life in order for you to come up with honest solutions, in order for you to either even derive to an honest resolution. Because some of us may have the tendency to believe what others tell us we are. And because we're believing what others tell us we are, so now we're placing their limited beliefs on who we are because we haven't been to change the process of our own self-confidence or our own self-concept. And when you begin to change your self-concept, you're going to have to begin to learn or be comfortable with spending more time with you, spending more time with the real you, spending more time with analyzing the way that you think, analyzing the way that you speak, analyzing how you listen to other people. Because when you spend time finding out who you really are, and then you begin to change the concept you have of yourself and the real you. Because when you do this, you will begin to change, and what you change about your life will also change. And you're not worrying about what somebody else is saying about you. You're not worrying about what somebody is saying to you. Because when you begin to your mind in the transformation of it in a thorough process, not a superficial process, but a thorough process, then you know who you are because you worked on you. You didn't let somebody else work on you and you took the shape of somebody else's reality. That's your reality in the changing of the self concept of who you are. And even in that notion of knowing and understanding who you are, you have to understand also that there are some basics of co-creation. Because sometimes it's going to take you sitting down with someone, uh, a mentor, or sitting with someone who really helped you along the way, and giving that level or that of gratitude. Because some may say that you can create your own reality. I mean, that may be true in nature, but at times, don't eliminate the process of the co-creation, right? Right? Because there was someone who may have helped you along the way. I mean, yeah, you can be that person. I don't need nobody. I'm good over here all by myself. Okay, cool. You may be good all by yourself, but you didn't make the car. You didn't make the job. You didn't make the money. Somebody made these things for you. So even in those process, don't eliminate the process of co-creation. Because you eliminate the process of co-creation, then you are going to forget and miss your blessing because you were so busy with saying it's the me, but you have also possibly missed the process of the co-creation. And we can bring things in existence with others because that's how we become stronger. And when you understand the process of co-creation, then you will definitely understand the process of being grateful. Because many of us have a lot to be grateful for, even including the things that we've taken for granted. Right? I mean, that's true. There are some things that we've taken for granted, but when we recognize those things that we took for granted, then we say, you know what? I'm going to be grateful for it because I don't have to have it. And because I have it, I'm going to be grateful for it because there is somebody who don't have this job. There's someone who don't have income. There's someone who don't have their father. There's someone who don't have their mother. So therefore, I am going to be grateful. Keep not communicating with that person that you don't have. There's somebody who don't have that person, who missed the person because they're no longer here. Be grateful for it. Or at least have a level of being grateful, something, right? Because gratitude actually can open a door in your life to receive more, right? That's why I say it's better to give to receive, because the more that you give, that opens up more doors of blessings for you to receive more things in your life. And then when you receive more things in your life, now you have the ability to share more things to other people, whether you're sharing some sort of monetary aspect, or you're sharing some sort of knowledge that you have gained when you have begun to look at that engaged transformative learning. So now you have more transformative gifts that you have in order for you to go and to give out to others for them to learn during that process and possibly how you've learned it. But they still have to go through their own thorough transformation themselves. So my question for you is, what do you have to be grateful for? Right? That's your question. And only you can answer that question. What do you have to be grateful for? And whatever that is that you have to be grateful for, just be grateful. Right? Because you didn't have to have it, but you do. And understand, transformation happens when you understand that there is a change that needs to be made. And remember, the definition of transformation is a thorough. Remember that. Thorough. Put thorough in the chat, because I want you to be thorough when I want you to understand that a transformation only happens when you're thorough. A transformation only happens when you're understanding that a change must be made. It is not a superficial change, but it is a thorough change within detail, a thorough change within not just concept of the mind, but a thorough change in actions, a thorough change that goes out into the process of where you're about to go, because there may be a co-creation that need to take place in order for the process of your transformation. And stop running away from new things that you know you need to learn. And as you learn during that process, that's where you begin to be grateful for the things that you've learned, because you've worked for it. Not just worked on it, but you've worked for it. Because remember, within the definition of the word thorough, it says what? There is a process of pain. So your transformation is not always going to be cookies and cream and sunshiny day. There may be a process of pain that you're going to go through. And trust me, after that pain, there's profit. After that pain, there's passion. After that pain, there's pleasure. All of those things are going to allow you to be grateful, because there are lessons that are learned even in the obstacles. Like I say all the time, turning those obstacles into opportunity, that means you understood the pain that you went through to get you through the process. All right, that's enough. But hey, y'all be blessed. And I appreciate you for being here. Make sure y'all share this live, because there's someone that may be in this transformation, but they probably didn't know that it has to be a thorough transformation in order for change to take place. It's too easy for us to say, oh, I'm in my transformation season. Yeah, that sounds about as superficial as you are. But when you are in your transformation season, you know what it feels like. It's just like if you lift weights and you got that soreness maybe on like day 3, day 2, day 3, that means your muscle groups are going through a transformation period. And then after the soreness is done, now you probably go to another muscle group. So that muscle group that you're working on is the same muscle group that you can work on in nature in your transformation. Ensure that you're getting into a process of engaged and transformative learning habits, because that's when you'll be able to receive more. But man, y'all be blessed. And I'll see you every Monday through Friday right here at Consistency is Currency. Make sure you go ahead and listen to the podcast. If this is your first time tapping in the morning, go to Anchor, go to Spotify, go to iHeart, also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and search and look up Consistency is Currency, and you can listen to messages. But man, y'all be blessed, and y'all have a blessed weekend. I see you on Monday right here. Peace.